We're going to kick off our final hour being joined by Audacy NFL insider Brian Baldinger, host of the Audacy original podcast In the Huddle, with our friend Jason Lockenforo and Carl Dukes covering the entire National Football League on Twitter at Baldy NFL. I actually want to start with a non-football question, Baldy. I've been thinking about asking you this for about 3 weeks now.
Okay.
You, before the Combine, you took some time off, you went home, and I am fascinated how one becomes a deep sea fisherman. You dive into the ocean and you just spear hunt fish. When did this start, and how do you not have a fear of sharks the way I do?
I don't have a fear of sharks. I saw a white tip. They tend to swim away from you. They like to take naps in the afternoon when I'm diving. There's some sharks. I mean, bull sharks, tiger sharks. I'm not crazy about being in the water with them. But most of them aren't very interested. I like looking at them. I like being in the water with them. It adds, because, there's always fish. Wherever sharks are, there's always fish. So I live in the water in Fort Lauderdale part of the year, and I literally I'm looking at the water right now, and I see a dive boat out there. Like I'm envious. I wish I was in there looking at turtles or schools of fish or whatever. I'm just interested in the water. I mean, it's just I feel like I'm a good waterman. I can swim all day long. I never get tired. I'm just working on trying to hold my breath longer right now.
I've spent my entire life needing to live by water, like a river or an ocean or some sort like that. I think it is very therapeutic for the human body.
I think all our problems can go away by just looking at the ocean. That's how I think. So I think everything just sort of disappears when you get mesmerized by it.
I tend to agree with you, Baldy. Do you remember your first experience going down to spear a fish and what that was like?
Well, I got my scuba license when I was in college, so I've been diving around the world. I've dove in every ocean, including in Antarctica. That wasn't, real long. I mean, but I didn't get hypothermia. But I think the first time I did something like that, probably 20 years ago. And so, there's just certain things that, like I like eating my fish fresh. I like when it was swimming in the morning and it was on the grill in the afternoon. It just tastes better that way.
God, there's a Swiss Family Robinson thing about you that I love, Baldy. This is Brian Baldinger, our RNC NFL insider. The Combine's come and gone. Speaking of fish, there's a decent-sized fish maybe, or maybe it's a small fish now to you. What is Russell Wilson as a fish on the NFL market? He is no longer going to be a Denver Bronco. He's available for teams to scoop him up. What do you make of Russell Wilson right now? Is he a quarterback that you think teams should be fishing for because he can still win at an elite level?
Well, I think you're going to get a very committed player. He's always, I've known Russell since he came in the league. He's a very committed player, committed to any program he's with. He is 35. You can get him for basically, his days of earning big money contracts like in Denver and Seattle are over. So you can get him pretty cheap. It's just, it just depends on, how long you think he can go. Not many guys can go past 35 and play at a high level. Obviously, we've seen Aaron do it. We've seen Tom Brady do it. We've seen Drew Brees do it. Can Russell Wilson, play at that level between 35 and 40? I'm sure he wants to play it like those guys did. But, you don't have to give up any compensation right now, and you can get him at a pretty good price. So, Baker Mayfield went to Tampa last year and gave him a great year, a playoff year, and, it was a very similar type of situation. Russell is a more accomplished player than Baker. But, what level can he play at? I think there's going to be teams that are interested. I think the Raiders should be interested. I think the Falcons should be interested. I would be interested in Russell because you don't have to pay him $45 million a year or $50 the way other teams have. I think you get him at a good price, and I think he's got a lot to prove. So I think you'll get a very motivated, committed Russell Wilson, whoever decides to take him.
Brian, you mentioned one of the teams that I wanted to ask you about in the Atlanta Falcons. And this team, we know this team has plenty of talent all around, but quarterback position was extremely brutal last year. Naming that as his potential spot for Russell Wilson, what is the best move for Atlanta? Is it going for a Kirk Cousins? Is it trading for a Justin Fields? Or is it getting a redemption project, kind of like Baker Mayfield, you were saying, in Russell Wilson? How good of a job is that quarterback job in Atlanta?
Well, I think it's a good job, and I think it was at the Super Bowl when the new head coach Raheem Morris said, "Look, if we had better quarterback play in Atlanta last year, I wouldn't be here." And he was absolutely right. The offensive line is good to very good. They got a Pro Bowl right guard in Lindstrom. It's a very good line. They've got elite running backs. And Bijan Robinson is just one of them. And I think that the talent, whether it's Kyle Pitts or Drake London, I mean, you look at who the quarterback will be throwing to, it's good. And then the defense is being rebuilt pretty well at just about every position, including the Pro Bowl safety Jesse Bates. So there's a lot to like about that job. I think Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, who's from Atlanta. I mean, I think all those guys would love to go there and play for Raheem Morris right now. I think it's a coveted job. It's a question of, what does the draft look like to Atlanta? Can they get one of these top prospects? Do they take one of these Russell Wilson and draft a player? I think one of the three names I just mentioned is going to be in Atlanta this year. Maybe it looks like Kirk Cousins might be the number one guy in the list right now, but he's still coming back from an Achilles injury, and I don't know where he stands with that injury right now.
Brian Baldinger is our guest, Audacy NFL insider, host of the Audacy podcast In the Huddle with Jason Lockenfora and Carl Dukes. Find him on Twitter at Baldy NFL. What do you make of the draft class? You're not much of a hot take guy, Baldy. You cut it straight to the point. You give us your thoughts on the film breakdowns and what players stand out to you. But a lot of people in our industry do give the takes. Ryan Leaf yesterday, don't think Caleb Williams is ready or anything he does is going to work. Mark Schlereth, the 40 time of the bench press, irrelevant drills. Where is Brian Baldinger on this, crop of quarterbacks that's going into the draft?
Well, I mean, look, I'm not here to, refute what anybody says. I think Mark Schlereth is right. The bench press has very little to do with whether you're a good football player. I mean, I saw what he had to say. But I couldn't disagree with Ryan Leaf more than what he has. And he stepped in the biggest game of the year in the Big 12, the Red River Shootout, Oklahoma, Texas. He came in, took over Spencer Rattler, and turned the entire program around. The guy, from the day he stepped on the field. Now, I'm a little biased. I've known Caleb since he was a junior or senior in high school, coming out of Maryland, and worked with him in a couple different camps. Like, the guy is razor sharp. Understands. I mean, I was throwing stuff at him when he was 17 years old. Like, he was spitting back answers like he was doing math, like an addition math problem, 2 + 2. Like, he was just that fast. He's been very, very well schooled. Lincoln Riley's had him for the last 3 years. He's played a lot of football. He's played at a very high level. He played on a team I'm not comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, but when Patrick Mahomes was at Texas Tech, he had to score 50 to win a game in the Big 12. And he would often lose when he put up 50. It was the same thing with Russell, with Caleb. He's putting up 40 points and losing in games right now. Like, he had to, look for the home run ball and do stuff that was outrageous. I think Caleb is an excellent prospect, and I can't see in any situation where he's going to fail at the next level.
I'm with you 100% on it. That's why I want to ask this question. It's a little open-ended, and I definitely don't want you taking shots at your colleagues or stuff, but what is it then? Why are there so many people coming out that seem to almost enjoy banging on this guy's potential? Because I'm with you. I like his playmaking ability, the across-the-body throws that I saw at USC. The kid is good. What is it about him? Is it because his NIL money? Is it the Heisman? What is giving these people doubts?
Yeah, I think some of that is all part of it. He doesn't throw balls on rhythm and timing to the frequency that you would like, but neither does Josh Allen, or neither does Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it's just the way the game is played right now. I think all that is part of it, what you just described. And then, look, these quarterbacks, I mean, I remember when Cam Newton came out and they said, he'll never be an accurate thrower, he'll never do this, and they stripped him down. In fact, I talked to Cam about this at the Super Bowl this year. And then he goes out and throws for 400-plus yards in his first 2 NFL starts. And 5 years into the league, he's the MVP of the league, unanimous MVP. So, this is just part of the process. Guys want to tear guys down. You want to look for something. And I'm not taking shots at anybody that's doing this, but they don't know Caleb. I feel like I know Caleb better than these other people do. And so I think I know what the kid is about. He loves the game of football. When he was, honestly, 17 years old, I thought he was a bigger, stronger Russell Wilson when he was 17. And that's when Russell was very much in his prime and was, taking teams to playoffs every year. Like, the kid can throw a football. Arm strength, understanding defenses. The offense is a little unsophisticated at Oklahoma, at USC. These guys just got to play fast at that level, so it can't be very sophisticated. But I think Caleb, to me, is. I mean, I don't even think. Look, Jaden Daniels is going to get a lot of push because that's what happens when you're the number 2 guy or the number 3 guy. The teams are going to push these guys up, but I don't think Caleb Williams is anything but the first pick in this draft.
Do you have thoughts on Penix Jr. and Nix? Is there one that you have seen that you like a little more than the others? And are those franchise guys to you based on what you've seen?
Michael Penix is my second favorite quarterback in this draft. I can't find a flaw in the guy. You can throw up the injuries, and that's fair, but he has started 27 straight games at Washington. He's an elite player. He's got an elite arm. He doesn't need much legs in order to generate power. The guy just has a whip, and it's accurate. And everything about from the day he transferred to Washington to when Rome Odunze and Polk and all these guys were going to transfer, and he said, no, you're not going. And they started getting their chemistry together, and McMillan and the tight end. He's an elite player. He's an elite prospect. He's a leader. What I love about him compared to, and I like both, but I just think when he does, when he runs, he's going to run in the 4.4s. People are going to get blown away by how fast he is. But I think one of the things I love about him is when he does move and scramble and extend plays, his eyes are down the field. He doesn't drop his eyes. And I see that being a problem with some of the other prospects in this class.
Get you out of here with this one. Is there a we're kind of keeping it a little local here, Oregon, Washington, whatnot. Is there a non-quarterback prospect for you that you get really excited about, whether they're in the top 5 of mocks or the back end of a round? Is there a prospect for you, non-quarterback, that you get really excited about?
Well, I mean, I'll just keep it local for you guys. I mean, I think Bucky Irving is a really good player. The center is a great player. He's the number one. This is a great draft for centers. And right now, if you're looking to upgrade at that position the way, say, the Pittsburgh Steelers are, you can't get any better than what they have at Oregon right now at that position. I mean, the guy is just a complete stud. So, Jackson Powers Johnson, he's not getting out of the top 20 picks in this draft. There's no way.
Yeah. Are you scheduled to go swim as soon as we get off this phone call?
It depends on the visibility today. I got to get a visibility report, but I could definitely be dropping in from the Lauderdale by the Sea Pier at some point today for sure.
Okay, quickly, Baldy, what is the fish you're usually catching to go eat fresh? What is that fish?
Well, hey, man, if I can get a red snapper between now and Saturday, that's going to feed the whole village here. That's coming over to the house here later today.
Well, sometime in Fort Lauderdale, I'm going to Google your address and hope that you can give us some red snapper, okay?
I'll be happy to clean it for you.
My hero. Brian Baldinger, Audacy NFL Insider. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at BaldyNFL and follow In the Huddle on the Audacy app or subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Baldy, we always appreciate it out here in Portland. Thanks for the info on Caleb and your thoughts on the draft in general and Russ. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, I love talking to you guys, man. Look forward to joining you again sometime soon.
All right,
take care. Thanks.
Yep, Brian Baldinger, our good friend over there in Fort Lauderdale. Maybe fishing. He he just free dives into the ocean and shoots fish with a spear gun. He's a badass.
That's way above my pay grade.
I couldn't. Well, it's not even a pay grade. I don't have the huevos to do that. No. I couldn't do that. I get scared in the ocean when I go past my knees.
He's also in the Atlantic Ocean. Let's be real. The real ocean is the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, I mean, he got a little more clarity in that water, so you can kind of see some things, but you could take me to that ocean, I still wouldn't want to free dive. It's insane. I can't do that.
There's no orcas over there, so I feel better.
That's not true. Orcas are starting to migrate that way.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Global warming.
That's not real.